Have you ever found yourself in a situation where everything seems to fall apart? When pain and loss make you feel trapped, with no way out? Have you ever wondered, why is this happening to me? Is there any meaning behind all these difficulties? In today's video, we will share a story that might change the way you look at your own life. It is the journey of three triplets, Emma, Olivia, and Sophie, who lost everything in a tragic moment. From the pain of loss to unexpected miracles, their story reveals a profound message, that even in the darkest times, there is always a greater plan awaiting you. You will witness emotional moments, from the despair of a surgeon facing failure to the compassion of strangers willing to sacrifice everything to bring light to the children's lives. Let's explore how the seemingly tangled threads of life can be woven into a beautiful, magical tapestry. And you will understand that, even in the greatest challenges, there is always a meaning, a hope, and a reminder that God has a plan for you. Are you ready to hear this inspiring story? Don't leave, because this journey might be just what you need to find light in your darkness. The autumn wind howled outside the small emergency room at St. Mary's Hospital in Boston, carrying with it a profound sense of unease. Michael Thompson, a veteran trauma surgeon, stood silently, his hands still trembling after the most difficult surgery of his career. The clock showed 3:47 a.m., and the fluorescent lights cast sharp shadows down the sterile hallway. Just a few hours earlier, a catastrophic multi-vehicle accident had brought in 5 critically injured patients. Among them were 3 young siblings, Emma, Olivia, and Sophie Carter, who became orphans in a tragic moment when their parents' car was hit by a drunk driver. At only 6 years old, these triplets now faced a sudden and cruel world without their parents' love. Dr. Thompson had fought with all his skill to save the children's parents, but some battles cannot be won, no matter how desperately one fights. As he leaned against the cold hospital wall, a profound sense of helplessness washed over him. Social worker Karen Rodriguez approached with a sympathetic but weary expression. "They have no surviving relatives," Karen said gently, her voice barely audible over the distant beeps of medical machines. "No grandparents, no aunts or uncles. These little girls are completely alone in the world." Michael closed his eyes, recalling his own childhood, the warmth of his parents, the comfort of knowing someone was always there. These girls would never experience that again. That night, he thought deeply and could not sleep. No one in the hospital knew that night, a celestial observer was watching the events unfold. This was no ordinary observer but a divine messenger tasked with understanding the intricate tapestry of human destiny. Sent to witness this moment of profound loss, the messenger carried a mission beyond human comprehension. The 3 children lay in hospital beds next to each other. Emma, always the most sensitive, clutched the teddy bear her mother had given her. Olivia, usually the most talkative, had cried herself to exhaustion. Sophie, the most resilient, seemed to be processing the tragedy with a maturity beyond her years. The next morning, Karen picked up the phone and began making crucial calls to find temporary shelter for the triplets who had lost their parents in the accident. She contacted the local child welfare office, described the unique circumstances, and emphasized the need to keep the girls together. However, this request limited the options, and many potential foster families declined, feeling unequipped. Amidst the challenges, Karen connected with Margaret and Robert Williams, a couple with many years of experience caring for children. Hearing the story, Margaret was moved and immediately agreed. "Bring them here, we will do whatever it takes to care for them." Margaret then turned to her husband, Robert Williams, who seemed incredulous. With sparkling eyes, Margaret squeezed her husband's hand and said emotionally, "Robert, this is our chance to provide a home for children who need love." Robert smiled, his voice hoarse but warm. "We will care for them as our own." Karen proceeded with the necessary assessments. She sent Margaret and Robert's profiles to the background check department and visited their home. The small, cozy house had a room already prepared for the girls. Margaret explained, "We want the girls to feel safe right from the start." After completing the paperwork, Karen called the hospital to inform them that a safe temporary shelter had been found. That afternoon, she arrived to take the triplets to Margaret and Robert's home. The girls, though young and bewildered, still had eyes full of trust. Karen felt the weight of responsibility but also hoped this was the beginning of a new journey where the girls could find love again. When Karen brought the 3 girls, Margaret had prepared a small party in the kitchen filled with the aroma of baked apple pie. "Hello, children," she said gently, kneeling to their eye level. "From now on, this will be your home." Robert stood behind, his kind smile radiating reassurance. In the early days, Emma, Olivia, and Sophie were still shy, but Margaret and Robert were patient with boundless love. Margaret spent every morning reading stories to the girls, helping them overcome their sense of loss. Robert took the girls out to the garden, teaching them how to care for the plants, as a way to ignite new hope in their young hearts. Over time, Emma began to show a fondness for the science books Margaret brought home from the library. Olivia often sat by the old piano in the Williams house, trying to tap out notes with her small hands. Sophie enjoyed helping Robert with daily tasks, from watering the plants to fixing small items around the house. Margaret always reminded the girls, "It's okay to be sad, but remember, love is always here." Thanks to their patient care, the 3 children gradually found their laughter, their eyes began to shine again, and they started walking on a new path with hearts full of hope. Margaret often confided in her husband, "These children are destined for something extraordinary," even though she couldn't explain why she felt that way. What Margaret didn't know was that the divine messenger had been silently orchestrating events. A chance meeting here, a seemingly random phone call there, invisible threads were being woven into a grand design. 3 years later, Elizabeth Hartley, a successful businesswoman who had never had the chance to be a mother, came across the story of the triplets in a magazine article about loving foster families. The picture of the 3 girls with their innocent smiles and their heartbreaking story touched her heart. Immediately, Elizabeth decided to meet Margaret and Robert Williams. She arrived at the small house, bringing with her a rare sincerity. "I am Elizabeth Hartley," she said, her eyes bright with emotion. "I cannot have children, but I have always longed to be a mother. When I learned about the girls' story, I felt a strong connection, as if they were meant to be a part of my life." Elizabeth explained that with her stable financial condition and deep love, she could provide the girls with many educational and developmental opportunities. "I am not here to break up this family," she said, looking at Margaret with deep respect. "I only hope to have the chance to become the girls' legal guardian, to protect and love them as my own." After listening, Margaret and Robert agreed on one condition: Elizabeth must always keep the connection between the girls and them. All 3 parties shook hands, beginning a new future full of hope. Under the care and nurturing of Margaret, Robert, and Elizabeth, the triplets were given the best conditions for living, learning, and growing. The 3 girls also grew to love their foster parents very much. One evening, gathered in the warm home of the family, Emma, Olivia, and Sophie sat beside their foster parents, Margaret and Robert, and their guardian, Elizabeth. The fire crackled in the fireplace, illuminating the radiant faces of the family. Emma, always thoughtful and deep, took Margaret's hand and said, "Mom Margaret, Dad Robert, without you, we don't know where we would have gone, what would have happened to us. I remember the early days, when Olivia, Sophie, and I were still shy and scared. But your patience and love made us feel safe. You read stories to us every night, teaching us that we are never alone. Dad Robert was always there, guiding us and caring for the garden, and most importantly, nurturing our souls. You two are not just our foster parents, but angels who brought us back into the light." Olivia, with the sensitivity of a musician, looked at Elizabeth with sparkling eyes. "And Mom Elizabeth, you changed our entire lives. I still remember the day you came to Margaret and Robert's house and said you wanted to protect us. You not only gave us the opportunity for the best education but also taught me to love myself. Thanks to you, I discovered music and made it the language of my heart. You are not just a guardian, you are my mother." Sophie, the strongest of the 3, looked at the adults with determined eyes. "I know that without everyone's love and sacrifices, we couldn't have achieved what we have today. I always tell myself that I have to become a good person, to help other children, just like how you helped us. Mom Margaret, Mom Elizabeth, I promise never to let what you did for us go to waste. I love you so much." Margaret smiled, her eyes filled with tears. "You are the greatest gift to us. It's not that we took care of you, it's you who brought us a complete family. We are so proud of you." Robert placed his hand on the girl's shoulders, his voice choked with emotion but firm. "You are strong and wonderful girls. We will always be by your side, no matter where you are." Elizabeth looked at the girls, then turned to Margaret and Robert, her eyes full of affection. "We have created something miraculous together. Seeing you three grow up, become loving individuals, makes me feel so fortunate." The whole family embraced in warm arms. It was a moment that needed no words, only hearts understanding, loving each other, and being grateful for what they had in life. By the time they turned 19, Emma, Olivia, and Sophie each had developed well in their respective directions, based on their talents and passions. Emma discovered a passion for scientific research, showing early aptitude in medical research, which would one day lead to groundbreaking discoveries. Olivia became a talented musician, her emotional depth conveyed through haunting musical compositions. Sophie developed into a compassionate social worker, dedicated to helping children who had experienced trauma. The divine messenger watched, a gentle smile on their celestial face. The seemingly tragic moment at the hospital was merely a doorway to an extraordinary journey. Years later, during a family gathering, Margaret, now old but still sharp, shared a profound observation with her daughters, who were now grown, beautiful, and talented. "Sometimes," she said, her eyes sparkling with wisdom, "what seems like the end of something is really just the beginning of something far more beautiful." The three sisters exchanged knowing glances. They had learned, through their own journey, that the most challenging moments in life often contain hidden blessings. They understood that pain is not a punishment, but a path, a mysterious path leading to growth, understanding, and unexpected joy. As the divine messenger had long known, some plans are written in a language beyond human comprehension. What seems like chaos to us is merely a complex symphony we cannot yet hear, a melody of purpose, resilience, and hope. The story of Emma, Olivia, and Sophie is a profound testament to the miracles of life, where seemingly unbearable suffering becomes the stepping stone to growth and discovering greater meaning. It reminds us that divine plans are often not linear, not easily visible, but woven with intricate perfection beyond the limits of human understanding. The journey of the triplets is not just a story of surviving loss, but a symbol of hope, faith, and unrelenting strength. They teach us that even in the darkest moments, there are always opportunities to find light, in love, patience, and the compassion of those willing to sacrifice for others. The message whispered by their story to every listening soul is to trust the process, that every challenge, every turn in life is an essential part of a greater plan. Losses are not endings, but opportunities for transformation. Difficulties are not failures, but doors leading to new possibilities. In the grand tapestry of existence, every thread, no matter how tangled or confusing, contributes to a complete whole. And if you are willing to trust, open your heart, and be patient, you will realize that your greatest challenges are not hindrances, but cocoons protecting you until you are ready to soar. Believe that in every circumstance, there is a wonderful plan for you, a plan crafted by a skilled and loving hand. Thank you so much for watching our video.